Alright.
New story. Hospital/mortuary night shift. Slow burn. Realistic, US-based. The third shift rule. The night shift at St. Mary's Memorial Hospital had one rule everyone followed. Never open the morgue drawer after 2:17 a.m. No one explained why. They didn't need to. I started working security there because it paid better than most overnight jobs, and honestly, I liked quiet. St. Mary's sat on the edge of town, old enough that parts of it still smelled like disinfectant and cold metal no matter how much they renovated. During the day, the place was alive, stretchers rolling, nurses shouting numbers, families whispering prayers in waiting rooms. At night, it became something else. The lights dimmed. The hallways stretched. Sounds carried farther than they should. Every footstep echoed like it belonged to someone else. On my first night, the supervisor handed me a clipboard and a radio and said, "Rounds every hour. Basement once per shift. Don't linger." "Basement?" I asked. "Morgue level," he replied, already walking away. "And don't open drawers after 2:17. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. No one laughed back. By my third week, I understood the silence. Around 1:50 a.m., the hospital always changed. Machines beeped slower. Elevators stopped being called. Even the ER calmed down like the building itself was holding its breath. At exactly 2:17 a.m., my radio crackled. Not dispatch. Not static. Just a soft tone, 3 beeps. Every single night. The nurses noticed it too. They never acknowledged it, but you could see it in the way they glanced at the clocks afterward. The way they avoided the elevators for a few minutes. The way doors that were always open suddenly weren't. That night, I was doing my basement round when I heard the sound. A drawer sliding open. Metal on metal. Slow. Controlled. I stopped walking. The morgue hallway was long and straight, lined with stainless steel doors on both sides. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, too bright for a place meant for the dead. I checked my watch. 2:19 a.m. My radio buzzed in my hand. "Basement unit," I said quietly. "Did someone authorize access to the morgue?" No response. The drawer sound came again, longer this time. Closer. I followed it. One drawer halfway down the hall was open about 6 inches. A tag hung from the handle, swinging slightly like it had just been touched. The name on it wasn't unfamiliar. It was mine. Full name. Correct spelling. Date of birth. I felt cold spread up my arms. "That's not funny," I said to the empty hallway. The drawer slid open another inch. From inside, I heard breathing.
Slow. Shallow. Alive.
My radio crackled again. This time, a calm, automated voice spoke. "Night shift reminder," it said. "Please verify all personnel are accounted for." The lights flickered. And somewhere deeper in the morgue, another drawer began to open. The drawer with my name. I didn't move. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my feet stayed planted on the cold linoleum floor. The drawer with my name on it sat there, half open, stainless steel catching the harsh fluorescent light. The tag swayed once more, then went still. The breathing stopped. That was worse. I reached for my radio again. "Basement unit to dispatch," I said, louder this time. "I need confirmation. Is anyone down here with me?" Only static answered. Behind me, the elevator dinged. I spun around just in time to see the doors slide open at the far end of the hall. The car was empty, its interior lights dimmer than usual, almost amber instead of white. The floor indicator above it flickered.
B2. B1. M.
Then, just for a second, the doors stayed open. I took a step back, bumping into one of the morgue doors. The metal was colder than it should have been, like it had been chilled far below room temperature. My radio crackled again. "Accountability check," the same calm voice said. "One staff member unverified."
My throat went dry.
"That's me," I whispered. "I'm right here." The drawer scraped open another inch. I could smell it now, not rot, not decay, but something antiseptic, sharp, like a freshly cleaned operating room. Whatever was inside hadn't been there long. I forced myself to look. Inside the drawer wasn't a body. It was a uniform. My uniform. Same security patch. Same name badge. Even the tear on the sleeve from when I caught it on a fence weeks earlier. It was folded neatly, like someone had prepared it for inspection. Underneath it lay a clipboard. I reached in before I could stop myself and pulled it out. The paper at the top read, St. Mary's Memorial. Third shift log. My name was already signed at the bottom. Next to it, in a different handwriting, status. Pending. I staggered back, nearly dropping the clipboard. From farther down the hallway came another sound, soft footsteps, rubber soles against tile.
Slow.
Unhurried. I raised my flashlight and aimed it down the hall. Someone was walking toward me. At first, I thought it was another guard. Same build, same posture. But as he stepped closer into the light, my stomach twisted. It was me. Not exactly. This version of me looked tired, paler, dark circles under the eyes. He wore my uniform, but the badge was older, scratched and dulled, like it had been worn for years. He stopped a few feet away and looked at the open drawer. "You're late," he said quietly. "I don't work down here," I snapped. "This isn't funny." He shook his head. "None of us do. Not at first." I glanced at the elevator again. The doors were still open, waiting. The indicator above it no longer showed a floor, just a steady, glowing line. "What happens at 2:17? I asked. His eyes flicked to the clock on the wall. "That's when the hospital counts who belongs to the living side of the shift. And if you're down here?" He met my gaze. "Then you're considered available." The lights dimmed slightly, as if the building were lowering its voice. "All staff must be accounted for," the automated voice announced. "Unverified personnel will be reassigned." The other me stepped back toward the elevator. "You can still walk away," he said. "Just don't open anything else. Don't answer the radio. And don't let the drawers finish opening." A loud clang echoed down the hall. Another drawer slammed shut on its own. Then another. Metal doors along the corridor began to rattle, one by one, like something inside them was shifting, adjusting. The drawer, with my name slid, open the rest of the way. And from deep inside the morgue, I heard my own voice call out softly. "Help me." Not a scream. Not a plea.
Just a tired request.
And the elevator doors began to close. Unaccounted for, I ran. Not toward the elevator, away from it. The doors slid shut behind me with a soft, final hiss, cutting off the only obvious exit. The hallway lights flickered again, dimming to that sickly amber glow, and the rattling drawers along the walls went quiet all at once. Too quiet. I sprinted past them, boots slapping tile, my breath loud in my ears. The clipboard slipped from my grip and clattered to the floor, pages fluttering open as I passed. I didn't stop to pick it up. I didn't look back. The corridor ended in a heavy fire door marked Authorized Personnel Only. I slammed into it and shoved hard. It opened. I stumbled into a smaller service hallway. Unfinished concrete walls, exposed pipes, the hum of machinery vibrating through the floor. This part of the basement wasn't on the public maps. Even most staff didn't know it existed. My radio crackled. I froze. "Basement unit," a different voice said. "Human this time. A woman. Tired. Are you on the floor?" I nearly cried with relief.
Yes.
"I'm here. I need help now." There was a pause. Paper shuffling. Keys clinking. "That's strange," she said. "You're not on my roster." "I'm right here," I insisted. "Security. Third shift." Another pause, longer. Then, "Sir, the roster shows your position as open." Cold crawled up my spine. "What do you mean, open?" "Like it hasn't been filled yet," she said. "There's a vacancy." The lights in the service hallway dimmed. Behind me, the fire door creaked open. I didn't turn around. "I need you to listen to me," I said into the radio, keeping my voice steady. "Something's wrong in the morgue. There are drawers opening. And someone who looks like me." Static cut me off. Then the calm, automated voice returned, louder now, echoing through the concrete corridor. "Unverified personnel detected off route," it said. "Please return to assigned area." Footsteps approached behind me.
Slow.
Rubber soles. Familiar cadence. You shouldn't have run, the other me said softly. It complicates the paperwork. I spun around. He stood in the doorway, blocking it completely. Up close, I could see how wrong he really was. His eyes were too dull, like they hadn't reflected light in a long time. His uniform looked heavier, weighed down by use. How long have you been here? I demanded. He shrugged. Long enough to stop checking the date. The automated voice continued, patient as ever. Third shift requires full staffing. Please cooperate. I backed away until my shoulders hit a metal door behind me. I grabbed the handle and yanked. It opened onto the morgue again. The drawers were all closed now. Every single one. The hallway lights were back to full brightness.
Clean. Orderly.
Like nothing had ever been wrong. Except for the tag. The same white tag hung from the center drawer, the one with my name. It swayed gently, like it was breathing. The other me stepped closer. This is the part where you decide, he said. You can take the open position or keep pretending you belong upstairs. What happens if I take it? I asked. He looked almost sympathetic. You finish the shift. And then? He didn't answer. The radio crackled one last time. Accountability check complete, the automated voice said. One staff member verified. The drawer slid open. Inside wasn't a uniform anymore. It was a bed. Hospital sheets. Thin pillow. Neatly made. Waiting. From somewhere deep in the building, a clock chimed once. 2:17 a.m. And the lights began to dim. The shift that never ends. I didn't step forward. The bed inside the drawer sat there, sheets perfectly smooth, corners tucked with the kind of care nurses use when they expect someone to lie down soon. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, steady and patient, like the room itself wasn't worried about my decision. The other me watched quietly. You don't have to lie down, he said. Not yet. Then why is it there? I asked, my voice barely holding together. Because the hospital prepares for outcomes, he replied. Not choices. The automated voice spoke again, closer now, as if it had learned how to whisper. Staff member verified. Initiating transition. The temperature dropped. My breath fogged the air, thin and uneven. The lights dimmed another notch, and the stainless steel drawers along the walls began to vibrate, not opening, not closing, just trembling, like something inside them was adjusting its position. I backed away from the open drawer. I'm not dead, I said. You can't put me here. The other me shook his head slowly. That's not what this is. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a badge. It was mine, same photo, same name, but the edges were worn smooth, the plastic yellowed with age. Most of us weren't dead either, he continued. We were just unaccounted for. The service hallway door behind me slammed shut on its own. I was boxed in now, drawer in front, doppelganger to my left, sealed doors everywhere else. My radio vibrated violently against my chest. Then it spoke. Not dispatch. Not the automated system. A woman's voice.
Weak. Panicked.
Please, she whispered. If you can hear me, don't answer them. The sound came from one of the drawers. Not the one with my name. Another tag caught my eye. Handwritten, smudged, barely readable. A nurse's name. I recognized it. She'd gone missing last winter. They said she transferred to another hospital. The drawer rattled. Once you lie down, the voice continued calmly, you stop being missing. You become staff. The other me stepped aside, giving me a clear path to the drawer. Last chance, he said. You can walk away if you leave now. But if you stay past the end of the hour, the hospital finalizes the record. A wall clock ticked loudly. 2:42 a.m. I thought about the nurses who avoided the basement. The supervisors who never stayed late. The rule nobody laughed at. I lunged for the nurse's drawer and yanked it open. Inside was a woman. Alive, barely, eyes wide, lips blue, fingers clawing at the edges like she'd been trying to pull herself out for days. Help me, she gasped. The lights exploded to full brightness. Alarms screamed, not emergency alarms, but something older, deeper, like the building itself protesting. The automated voice snapped, no longer calm. Protocol breach. The other me shouted, "Don't." I grabbed the woman's arm and pulled. She was heavier than she looked, like gravity itself didn't want to let go. My boots slid on the tile as the drawers along the walls burst open one by one.
Beds.
Uniforms.
People.
Some sleeping. Some awake. Some staring. Hands reached out. The hallway filled with voices, no longer patient, no longer calm. Angry. Hungry. I pulled harder. The woman screamed. The clock shattered. 2:17 flashed once across every screen in the hallway. Then went black. The lights died. And something in the darkness moved fast, discharged. The darkness didn't last long. It felt long. But when the lights slammed back on, it was like being yanked awake from a nightmare mid-scream. I was on the floor. The woman was gone. The drawers were sealed. No alarms. No voices. No movement. Just the hum of fluorescent lights and the steady beep of a heart monitor somewhere far above us. I pushed myself up, shaking so badly my knees almost folded again. The morgue hallway looked normal. Too normal. No open drawers. No beds. No tags with names. Just clean stainless steel and polished tile, like the place had never been touched by anything living. Or dying. My radio lay on the floor beside me. Silent. I picked it up and tried to speak. "Basement unit, does anyone copy?" This time, a response came instantly. "Copy," a man said. "Where have you been?" "We've been calling for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I looked at my watch. 2:18 a.m. 1 minute passed. I got turned around, I said, my voice hoarse. "I'm heading back up." "Good," he replied. "And hey, don't go down there alone again, all right?" The radio clicked off. I stood there for another full minute, waiting for something else to happen. Nothing did. I took the elevator back to the main floor. The indicator worked normally. The doors opened normally. The hospital sounded alive again. Machines beeping, carts rolling, voices echoing. By 7 a.m., my shift ended. No one mentioned the basement. No one mentioned missing staff. No one mentioned alarms. I went home and slept for 12 hours straight. I quit the next day. No notice. No explanation. They didn't argue. That should have been the end. It wasn't. 3 weeks later, I saw her. I was walking past the hospital on my way to a bus stop when I noticed a woman standing near the employee entrance.
Pale. Thin.
Wearing scrubs that looked a size too big. She turned. It was the nurse. The one from the drawer. Our eyes locked. Her face went white. She shook her head, slowly, desperately, and mouthed 2 words. They noticed. Then she walked back inside the hospital. I never saw her again. Last night, my phone buzzed at exactly 2:17 a.m. No notification. No message. Just vibration. This morning, there was an email in my inbox. From St. Mary's Memorial Hospital. Subject line. 3rd shift position reopened. I didn't apply. I deleted it. But a few minutes later, another email came through. Same sender. 1 sentence in the body. "Next time, don't interfere with intake." I don't sleep much anymore. And every night, when the clock creeps closer to 2:17, I make sure I'm nowhere near a hospital. Because now I understand the rule. The morgue drawers don't open because someone is dead. They open because someone is missing. And the night shift always needs replacements. Intake is not optional. I blocked the hospital's email. Then I blocked the domain. Then I changed my number. None of that mattered. At 2:17 a.m. the next night, my apartment lights dimmed on their own. Just a flicker, subtle enough that I might have convinced myself it was a power hiccup if my phone hadn't vibrated at the same time. No notification. No sound. Just vibration. I didn't look at the clock. I didn't need to. The air smelled wrong. Clean, sharp, antiseptic, like a hallway that had just been mopped. My chest tightened as a memory surfaced I hadn't noticed before. How the morgue never smelled like death. It smelled like preparation. A knock came from my front door. 3 taps. Measured. Professional. I stayed still, heart thudding. The knock came again, softer this time, like a reminder rather than a demand. Staff check, a woman's voice said from the other side.
Come.
Familiar. We're missing one. I pressed my back to the wall and slid down until I was sitting on the floor. You can't, I whispered. I quit. There was a pause. Paper rustled, like someone consulting a clipboard. Resignations must be processed, the voice replied. Please open the door. The hallway light outside my apartment buzzed. I heard the elevator ding at the far end of the corridor. Then another ding. Then another. They were coming up. My phone lit up, screen locked, no apps open, displaying a single line of text in stark black letters. Intake rescheduled. The elevator doors opened. Footsteps stepped out, rubber soles, slow and synchronized. Not rushing. Never rushing.
I knew that sound now.
I'd heard it in the basement, in the service hallway, in my dreams. I crawled to my bedroom and slammed the door, locking it, shoving a chair under the handle like that would help. My reflection in the mirror caught my eye. I looked faded. Dark circles under my eyes. Skin paler than it should be. For a split second, I thought I saw a badge clipped to my shirt, but when I blinked, it was gone. The bedroom door handle rattled gently. Final notice, the woman said, closer now. If intake is missed again, reassignment will be automatic. No, I said, louder this time. I'm alive. Silence. Then a different voice answered, one I recognized immediately.
Mine.
Alive isn't a requirement, it said softly. Available is. The mirror rippled. My reflection didn't move when I did. He stepped closer from the other side of the glass, wearing the uniform again, cleaner now, better fitted. He looked settled. You caused a disruption, he continued. That nurse was never supposed to leave. The system noticed. The door rattled again, harder. Come back, he said, almost kindly. It's easier when you stop fighting the schedule. The clock on my nightstand flicked on by itself. 2:17. Every light in the apartment went out. In the dark, the bedroom door opened. Cold air rushed in, and as hands closed around my arms, steady, practiced, familiar, I realized the worst truth of all. The hospital never needed to kill anyone. It only needed people who stopped being accounted for. And once you missed intake too many times, you were simply processed.